Tragedy struck earlier today when an inferno at a nightclub in Santa Maria, Brazil, claimed the lives of nearly 200. News First International Desk has been closely monitoring the situation on this fast-developing story. We have more details coming up in the news, but first let's take a look at the stories making headlines tonight. Presidential spokesperson says a cabinet reshuffle will take place tomorrow. The president says any actions which would deteriorate ethnic harmony cannot be allowed. One person killed in clash in Nadagama Gampaha. 4 including the Jala Pradesh Sabha opposition leader injured. Nearly 200 people killed in a nightclub fire in Brazil. Presidential spokesperson Mohan Samaranayake says that a cabinet reshuffle will take place tomorrow. Samaranayake said the swearing-in ceremony will take place at Temple Trees at 11 a.m. tomorrow. When News First made inquiries, Samaranayake said changes will be made to several portfolios. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that actions which undermine the religious coexistence and ethnic harmony prevalent in the country cannot be allowed. The president made this statement at a meeting held at Temple Trees today.
Representatives of the Bodu Bala Sena organization met with President Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees this morning. The presidential media unit said that the president was made aware of the actions of the Bodu Bala Sena organization at this meeting. The president too said that the government is dedicated to preserving religious coexistence and ethnic harmony in the country, and that all people should rally around the government's initiative. A group including members of the Mahasangha from the Bodu Bala Sena organization, ministers and parliamentarians were present at this meeting.
A meeting was held in Warakapala today with the participation of several senior members of the United National Party.
It was held to felicitate public representatives in the Dadigama electorate under the auspices of UNP and opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe. MP Sajid Premadasa also participated at this event.
අද අපිට තිබෙන එකම බලාපොරොත්තුව එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ ආණ්ඩුව. ඒ වගේම පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණයකට පෙර එන ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදී එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ.
At this instance, I would like to state that our only hope is to bring forth a UNP government and to bring forth a UNP president in the presidential elections to be held before the parliamentary election. This government has given us a most fortuitous opportunity today to implement the UNP's path to victory. I think that today the government has provided the UNP with an expressway where we can go straight to the presidency without tooting the horn or stopping. But if we try to stop along this road to change tires and do various other things, then our journey will cease midway. At this instance, I would like to propose that the UNP which crowns the people, I propose to you at this instance that the era of the UNP which aches to serve the people, which fights to bring relief to the feet of the people, is at hand.
ජනතාවට සේවය කරන්න තිබෙන කෑදරකම, ජනතාවට සහන ලබා දෙන්න තිබෙන මේ පෙරේතකම මුදුන්පත් කරගෙන ජනතාවගේ දෙපතුල ළඟට සහන ළඟා කරවන එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ අලියගේ යුගය අත ළඟයි කියන එක මම තමුන්නාන්සලාට මේ අවස්ථාවේ යෝජනා කරනවා. මේ ඉදිකිරීමේ වැඩ කටයුතු විතරයි කරන්නේ.
They only undertake construction and not the work that people want. They say they are building roads. How can they build roads when they do not know the road they are travelling on? How can the government which is stuck in the mud build roads? There is no plan. They do not build these with the country in mind. They build these in accordance with the 2020 agenda. What we have to think about is whether we are going to allow this 2020 system to go further, or are we going to chase them away. We must find a way to topple the government. So like the Lord Buddha, Prince Siddhartha avoided bad things, we too must go to that position. Because if we are to chase off this government, then the first thing we must have is a strong organization, an army at the grassroots level.
හමුදාවක් බිම්මට්ටමේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ.
While public representatives were felicitated at this event, organized by the organizer of the Dedigama electorate, Champika Premadasa, identification cards were presented to party representatives.
The delegation of 3 US Deputy Assistant Secretaries visiting Sri Lanka met with Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa today.
The Director General of the Public Communications Unit of the Ministry of External Affairs, Rodney Pereira, said the US delegation toured the northern province today. Meanwhile, the delegation also met with representatives of the Tamil National Alliance last afternoon. The delegation of US Deputy Assistant Secretaries were to hold discussions with Sri Lankan representatives on the progress Sri Lanka has made in implementing the National Action Plan and the recommendations of the LLRC report. The delegation comprises of the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs, James Moore, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Democracy, Human Rights and Labour in South and Central Asia, Jane Zimmerman, and the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defence for Asia and the Pacific, Vikram Singh.
Meanwhile, the delegation of US Deputy Assistant Secretaries also met the Bishop of Jaffna, Reverend Thomas Sundaranayagam, this afternoon. The meeting took place at the Bishop's official residence. Our reporter said that the current situation in Jaffna, reports of missing people and the problems faced by the people were discussed at the meeting.
It's such a big old compound, very historic.
Chief Justice Mohan Piris visited the Jayashree Mahabodhi in Anuradhapura this morning.
Mohan Piris, who arrived in Anuradhapura first, visited the Mirisavati Rajamahaviharaya. The chief prelate of the temple invoked blessings on Mohan Piris following religious observances.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa.
The Chief Justice, who then arrived at the Ruwanveli Mahasaya, met the Chief Prelate of the Chaitya and Chief Sanganayak of Kandy, Venerable Pallegama Hemaratana Thera. Chief Justice Mohan Piris also met the Chief Prelate of the North and Central Province and the Atamasthana Venerable Professor Pallegama Srinivasa Thera before worshipping the Jayashree Mahabodhi.
Up next is Crime Watch.
One person was killed and 4 injured following a clash which broke out between two factions in Nadagama Gampaha. The police media spokesperson said the clash followed an argument that broke out between two factions regarding checks. The opposition whip of the Joyala Pradesh Sabha, Chintaka Silva, his brother and 2 others had arrived at a house in Nadagama Gampaha last evening to inquire into certain checks. The police say that goods from the house had been loaded onto a lorry at this time. The police say that the group, including the opposition whip of the Joyala Pradesh Sabha, had got involved in an argument with another group who were in the house. My brother had given some money to another person. Afterwards, he said that he had sold his house and asked my brother to come take the money. When my younger brother was going in the car, he was accompanied by my elder brother, Rajaratna. They met another friend on the road and took him as well. About an hour after they left, we heard that both brothers had been attacked. The magisterial inquest was held this morning. The councillor's deceased brother is D.H. Rajaratna, a father of 2 residing in Joyala. The opposition whip of the Joyala Pradesh Sabha and another person who was injured in the incident are receiving treatment at the Colombo National Hospital. The director of the hospital, Dr. Anil Jayasinghe, said they both underwent surgery. While 2 people who were in the house in Nadagama are receiving treatment for their injuries at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital, they have been arrested on suspicion by the police.
Let's now take a look at the newspaper cartoon of the day. Well, those were the laments of Achala Priyadarshini, a final year law student. This is her story. Achala Priyadarshini, who is a final year student of the Faculty of Law of the University of Colombo, is a resident of Urubokka. She never would have thought that her life would be turned upside down by a fractured arm. When I was running, I slipped and fell down about 5 stairs. Since I am used to my left hand, I put it down to break the fall. That's when the 2 bones between the wrist and the elbow fractured.
We
rushed her to the Urubokka hospital. Afterwards, they put on a bandage at the Mathura hospital. On the night of the 18th, she complained that her arm was hurting. Then they had given her some sleep medication. On the 19th, the hand turned blue and she was transferred to Colombo.
Achala was a left-hander. They removed the plaster encasing my hand and sent me to Colombo. The doctors here performed about 3 surgeries, and then when there was nothing else to do as the arm was dead, they amputated the arm from here. The Ministry of Health has taken steps to appoint a committee to investigate the amputation of Achala's arm. Director General of Health Services Dr. Palita Mahipala said the committee would commence investigations tomorrow. The committee comprises of surgeons, including the Deputy Director General of Medical Services Unit, Dr. Ananda Kunasekara.
I work at the law faculty. Something has happened to my daughter's hand. If this was caused by someone, then I am asking for legal action to be taken and for justice to be meted out.
The entire law faculty is now united not to find an answer to this question. Our honest need is to find a prosthetic arm for her. We will try our best on her behalf to find an electronic arm. It has been estimated that this will cost about 10 million rupees.